most important staples to a Scream movie is the opening scene. Every movie since the beginning, the first one, has this like crazy opening kill scene. Well, not all of them are a kill scene. They start out with this opening scene to get people's attention really early in the movie, and it definitely works. I feel like the opening scenes are usually something that people say is their favorite part, especially with like the older movies. It became tradition after the first one because after that every single one starts out with this brutal opening death. Generally, the opening scene is one of the best scenes of the movie, depending on which one it is in. But usually they are the best scenes because they're the ones that they put the most thought into. It's the first one, you gotta get everyone invested in the movie. So today I'm going to be ranking the opening scenes from my least favorite to my favorite one. I feel like usually the better opening scenes are the scarier ones. Usually those with like a darker tone make me more invested in watching the movie because I think it like just kind of scares you right away. But I think it's important to have a balance of like both scary and funny, especially when it comes to the Scream franchise. I'm just gonna be ranking them based on my own opinion. Lots of people have different opinions about what their favorite opening scene is, especially depending on your age, whether or not you were able to watch the older movies. I know a lot of new generation Scream fans like the newer movie openings. But today I'm gonna be ranking all 6 from all 6 Scream movies. And if you have your own ranking, let me know what it is.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes?
Who is this?
Who are you calling?
Who am I speaking to?
Wrong number.
At number 6, I have the Scream 4 opening. This one is definitely the most unique, I think, out of all of them, just because it's got the false stab openings and then there's almost like 3 instead of 1. I'm personally a big fan of Scream 4. I know a lot of people don't like Scream 4 as much. I really like the movie, but I have to say that the opening scene, especially on rewatches, just doesn't hit as much as the other ones do. I'm not exactly sure what it is. Maybe it's that they're just like really dumb. Maybe it's that the characters aren't as iconic because there's so many of them, because there's 3 different parts and they didn't have enough time to like develop into as big of a character because they all had 3 different sections of the opening scene. 2 of them aren't real. 1 of them makes no sense. I remember the first time I watched it, I thought it was really funny, but rewatching it, it just like, I don't love it as much. I will say that the final part of the opening with Jenny and Marnie is decent. I do definitely enjoy that one more than the other 2. I think Jenny's running away from Ghostface bit is pretty good, but I don't know, something about it is just lacking for me. Which, I mean, they've made 6 openings, so like one of the openings is gonna have to be the worst one. Like, it's impossible to not have one that's not as good as the other ones. So, I mean, what can you really say about it? I still enjoy it. It's okay. It's just definitely not the best one.
Why don't you tell me who you are?
You're a naughty boy, Cotton. Now, what would your girlfriend say?
What makes you think I have a girlfriend?
I know you do. I'm right outside her bathroom door.
At number 5, I have the Scream 3 opening. I feel like the Scream 4 opening is really the only one that I don't love, but the Scream 3 opening I actually do really like. I love that it's the only one to kill off a character who was already pre-established in the franchise. I think that was a really good choice for that character in that movie. I've heard a lot of people critique this, but I really do like the voice changer. I think it's a fun idea and it adds an element of like mystery to the movie. I know it's only in that one, which doesn't make a lot of sense, but I really enjoyed it, and I think it does well in this opening. One problem I have with this opening is it just seems a little predictable once he's like getting home and then she's being attacked and then like the cord line is cut. It's just a little cliche, which I love cliches at times. I just found it really predictable the first time I watched it. I have to say, I do think that this scene is the scariest in Scream 3, which definitely helps me like it more because I like the scarier moments, and Scream 3 isn't really a scary movie. But in comparison, this one is just not as good as the other ones, so that's unfortunate.
He's got a knife. What? He's got a knife. What? And that's not the worst part.
The worst part is, you teach a class about slashers, and you still walked into a dark alley. Alone.
At number 4, I have the Scream 6 opening. This one, I have to say, gets the award for the most shocking, I feel like. Well, no, that's not true. I think Scream 1 would take most shocking for killing off Drew Barrymore, but I wasn't alive for that, so I didn't get to experience that. Other than Scream 1, I think this one has one of the biggest shocks where he unmasks himself in the opening. I really liked that idea. I thought that was a fun little twist that I definitely didn't see coming and I think shocked a lot of people. I do wish Laura Crane would have had a little bit more in this scene. Like, she just died so early. It was really unfortunate to see that. But I think her performance was really good. I thought the other guy was good too. I remember really liking this opening when I saw it. Like, my mouth dropped when I was in the theater. But after like seeing the movie and realizing that it was the Kirsch family who was killing them because they wanted to get to Sam first, that just makes no sense to me, and it feels like this whole opening means nothing, if that makes sense. Wouldn't it make more sense for them to let Jason and Greg go kill Tara and Sam, and then they don't have any evidence against them? Like, that makes more sense. I feel like there was no reason for the Kirsches to kill Greg and Jason. And Laura Crane was just some teacher of Jason, so it just, the characters mean nothing, and I don't like that they didn't mean anything to the actual story. I feel like they should have given a better reason for the Kirsches going after Jason and Greg, because it made no sense. But I do like this opening, and I enjoyed the shock value of it.
She answers a wrong number and starts talking with the killer who makes her play a game. Would you like to play a game, Tara?
At number 3, I have Scream 5. This opening is very reminiscent of the opening of Scream 1, which I really enjoyed. I do find it interesting that this is the only opening, I believe, to have one character instead of 2. It does technically show Amber, but she's never actually involved in the opening. So I think having Tara being the only one attacked in this opening is a unique choice. I don't know if I loved it, but I just think it's interesting. One thing I really like that they did in this one is that Tara doesn't end up dying in it, because obviously you're expecting Tara to die knowing how Scream openings work, and the fact that they didn't do that to subvert your expectations was really smart on their part. Like, I remember not knowing if she was gonna survive or not. I don't like that they showed her in the trailer after the opening, and so people were able to figure it out and spoil it a little bit, but I do appreciate that they did do that, because it's very, again, reminiscent of the opening of Scream 1, when everyone thought Casey Becker was going to live past the first scene. It was like a reverse play on that. I do also like them showing Amber there, because she ends up being the killer, so her being in that opening kind of throws your suspicion off of her. She's the one that Tara is texting throughout that whole scene, so it just, you don't end up thinking that it's her. I liked that they brought back the trivia questions. I thought that was really fun. I really love that she cheated on one of them, because that was just so what I would have done. Like, that was perfect for our generation of getting trivia by Ghostface. And I think the acting was really good in this opening. Like, I really don't have many critiques for this. I think I just like the other two better that are above it, but this one was really good, and it started off the new era of Scream in a really positive way.
Give me some money. I need to get some popcorn.
You got money.
I got my money. I asked for your money.
What do you say?
At number 2, I have Scream 2. This opening, I think, grew on me over time, just because after the first opening, it's really hard to live up to that, and after the first movie, it's really hard to live up to that. And I think this opening was not so similar that it looked like it was trying to just copy the first one, but it was reminiscent of the same vibe that they went for in that first movie. Everyone now knows who Ghostface is in the universe because they've released the Stab movie, and they have the opening taking place in a theater, knowing that fans are going to also be going to the theater to see Scream 2, so that was just beautifully done. Unfortunately, I was not old enough to get to experience that, but I do think that that is a fun thing for the people who did get to experience that. So I was not alive. I think what's really good about this scene is that there's just so many people, so you don't know when Ghostface is gonna strike or where he is. I feel like that whole time they have like a bunch of fake outs, they have a bunch of moments where you think it could be, and you just don't know when he is going to strike. There's just a lot of like misdirection in this one, which I really appreciate. They keep splitting up throughout it, and I do like the part where he comes back in the mask so that she doesn't realize it's actually the killer. I feel like you also just have to appreciate the Stab recreation of Scream 1. Like, that's just perfect. Again, I don't have any critiques really for this one, and I think that it was the best for what it could have been.
You never told me your name.
Why do you want to know my name?
I want to know who I'm looking at.
What did you say? I want to know who I'm talking to.
At number 1, I have the Scream 1 opening. This scene is just so much fun. On a rewatch, it's fun getting to watch it the first time. I remember watching it for the first time. It honestly could stand alone. Like, I feel like you could just have it be a short film and it just be this one scene. I like that it plays on the idea of being home alone. Like, that's just scary. Everyone's scared when they're home alone, so at least I am. So that's frightening. And the acting in this scene is just top notch. Like, I think it is the best acting out of all of the openings. And like, I just have to respect that they made you think she was gonna be the main character and then she wasn't. Like, that's so smart of them to do, because it just gets you like immediately involved in the movie of like, where is it gonna go, because I thought she was gonna be the main character and she's not. Like what I said about the Scream 2 opening, I think they keep faking you out of when she is going to get attacked, where he acts creepy and then she does the quiz and then she runs around the house. Like, you just don't know exactly when it's going to happen, and you also didn't think that she was gonna die. So I think it keeps you engaged throughout the whole thing, and it's not as predictable as some of the other ones are. I think this scene is perfect. I have no critiques. I think there's nothing that should have been changed about it. I think the casting was great, and it is the best Scream opening out of them all. It has stood the test of time and is still fun to watch, and I definitely enjoy it the most out of all of them. I don't think anything will ever top the Scream 1 opening. So that's my ranking on all of the Scream opening scenes. I love all of them. Well, I don't know if I love the Scream 4 one, but it's a fun time. And I think they're all really well done. They all serve a purpose in their movie, so I think that's important. And again, not all of them are gonna be the best one, and one of them has to be the worst. So I think for all of them together, they are just like so great. They all have something going for them. I think when I'm watching a Scream movie, the opening scene is one of the things that I get most excited about, so I'm glad that they keep doing that. I'm glad they've done it in every movie. I hope to see that when they come out with Scream 7. I'm kind of curious what they're gonna do, because I feel like they've done all the ideas, so they definitely have a lot of opportunities with Sydney coming back after leaving the franchise, so I'm excited to see what they do. I don't know if she's gonna be in the open scene. I hope not, because that would scare me that she would die. So, but I do think that whatever they come up with, it will probably be great, because so far they've all been pretty good. All right, that's it for today. Bye.